If you're watching this right now, it's not a coincidence. Something in your vibrational field emitted exactly the code that this message carries. And from this point on, nothing will be the same again. Maybe in the past few days, you felt tired for no reason. Strange anxiety, confused thoughts, like your life's gone off track, with no explanation. But what no one told you is that these scenes the silent activation of a dangerous Lewitan for millennia. A law encoded in the invisible fields of reality. A law that, once awakened, starts reprogramming your life based on the vibration you maintain. It's not luck. It's not misfortune. It's frequency. And if you're here now, it's because your vibration finally matched this truth. Most people will ignore it. They'll scroll past. They'll think it's just another spiritual video on the internet. But those who stay, those who really listen, they'll understand. They'll understand why this law was hidden. And they'll discover how to use it to shape their reality, before it shapes them without even knowing. What's causing this invisible collapse? You've been phalanging something almost no one sees in time. You, man. You are hidden light within matter. Learn to command your vibration, and you will command the form. You've had those days when it feels like everything's working against you. You wake up late. Little things irritate you. And it's like the whole universe suddenly turned its back. And the weirdest part, it all happens out of nowhere. No tragedy. No big event. Just a silent drag. Like something invisibly is pulling your life down, putting weight on everything that should feel light. Conversations get tense. Your body feels tired, even after sleep. Opportunities, they vanish before you can even chase them. Most call it bad luck. Others blame Mercury in retrograde. Some blame traffic. Other people. The world. But the truth is deeper and far more subtle. You're feeling the effects of a misaligned vibrational field. A low, silent, but intense frequency. Like a reversed magnet. Instead of pulling in good things, it pulls in everything that reinforces your discomfort. And it doesn't stay trapped inside you. It spreads. It contaminates. It shapes your energy field. It vibrates like an antenna, and everything around you responds to that signal. People start to sense something. Some pull away. Others vibrating at the same low frequency get closer. And before you know it, you're surrounded by situations, decisions, relationships that mirror exactly that low vibration. Your mood shifts. Your thoughts get darker. Your choices, more reactive. You act with less clarity. And the little mistakes start piling up. What was once simple becomes complicated. What once looked promising becomes a problem. And you slip into a quiet cycle. Everything around you starts echoing exactly how it's pulsing inside you. Reality is listening to your soul's frequency and sending back the same tone. But the tone is distorted. And the longer you stay in that state, the harder it is to notice. Because survival mode becomes your new normal. That heavy feeling becomes routine. Stagnation disguises itself as stability. And that lack of motivation, it hides behind, "I'm just tired." But it's not tiredness. It's frequency. And the more you try to fix things from the outside in, the more drained you become. Because the problem was never out there. What's holding your life back isn't the obvious obstacles. It's the frequency you're using to deal with them. Picture someone swimming against a strong current, but tied down by invisible chains. Constant effort. No real progress. You're moving, but going nowhere. That kind of vibrational paralysis wears down even the most determined souls. There's an invisible mechanism shaping your reality without your permission. And that silent system, it repeats, day after day, shaping your life like a pre-written script. The biggest trap. It works, without you even noticing. And the more you ignore it, the deeper it pulls you in. The stronger it gets. Because this programming, it doesn't depend on your will. It doesn't need your permission. It only needs one thing, your vibration. And that's when everything starts to make sense. You might wish for peace, love, prosperity. You can repeat mantras, set goals, make plans. But if your vibration is still stuck in heavy patterns, that's exactly what you'll keep receiving. Because the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're putting out. It's a vibrational mirror. It reflects what you are at the deepest level. not what you say out loud. That's why, when you're anxious, you attract more situations that trigger anxiety. When you're in scarcity, you get more bills, more surprises, more losses. Because vibration creates a field, and that field starts organizing reality around the frequency you hold. Life begins to revolve around that frequency, not because of bad luck, but because of alignment. And here it is, the part hidden for millennia, a knowledge the ancients understood but buried, encoded in symbols, rituals, metaphors. The Egyptian masters wrote it in their sacred texts. Reality is mental. Everything vibrates. The universe responds to the frequency of your being. But that wisdom? It was discredited, mocked, thrown into the realm of fantasy. Why? So no one would access its power. But now, it's being decoded. And if you're hearing this, it's no coincidence. It means you're tuning in. You're waking up. This law, once too mystical to be taken seriously, being rediscovered by those escaping the illusion. The law of vibration isn't a theory. It's subtle technology, vibrational engineering, a precise mechanism controlling every aspect of your life, even while you believe you are the one in control. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think it's an auto-think positively, to stay busy, to say, thank you now and then. But vibration doesn't respond to the surface. It responds to the root. To what you vibrate when no one's watching. To what you feel when you're alone in the dark with no one to impress. That's where the field is formed. That's where the command is sent. Vibration is like a hidden code, running below consciousness. It tunes your reality like a radio station. And depending on the station, you hear chaos or clarity, heaviness or lightness, noise or music. But unlike a radio, you don't turn the dial with your hand. You turn it with your inner state, with the way you feel, think, act, and react. And when that code is off, life enters repeat mode. The same story, different faces. The same challenge, new disguise. Because the field keeps broadcasting at the same frequency. You change the surface, but the essence stays the same. And this is when people give up. They say life is just like that. But it's not. It's just a vibrational field stuck in a loop. And that logic? It's not abstract. It's measurable. It's scientific. Dr. David Hawkins, a psychiatrist and researcher, mapped it on a logarithmic frequency scale. It measures emotional states and how they shape your life. This scale isn't guesswork. It's not just spiritual fluff. It's science based on real measurements of human vibration and its impact on the consciousness field. And what he revealed changes everything. The scale runs from 0 to 1000, but the turning point, the place where everything shifts, is at level 200. Below that, you're vibrating in survival, the field of stagnation, emotional pain, energetic collapse, shame, guilt, apathy, fear, destructive desire, anger. These are the states that keep your life stuck. And the longer you stay there, the more your reality starts to fall apart. Below 200. It doesn't matter what you try to do, everything takes twice the effort. You might achieve something, but you can't hold on to it. Relationships fall apart. Finances vanish. Vital energy drops. The mind spirals into paranoia. Health begins to fail. It's like everything around you is being drained by an invisible force, sucking the life out of everything it touches. And so you try to fix it with logic, with action, with trial and error. But nothing works. Because the problem isn't practical, it's vibrational. And here's what makes it worse. Below 200, you become vulnerable to everything. Other people's energy, the news, heavy environments, even negative words. It all hits you directly. Every little think knocks you off center. And worst of all, you start to accept it. You normalize the chaos. You accept survivalists if it's natural. You learn to live with pain, with anguish, with that quiet, sinking feeling that nothing will ever work out. You endure, instead of truly live. But there is a turning point, an invisible threshold. And when you cross it, everything starts to shift. The moment your vibration rises above 200, the field changes. The entire system switches from survival to creation. And suddenly, you're operating in a new frequency. Courage, acceptance, neutrality, reason. These are the first steps of conscious creation. Reality no longer drags you down. You start influencing the field instead of it influencing you. And it's subtle, but powerful. Situations begin to flow. Intuition sharpens. Synchronicities appear. People in scarcity begin to fade. And those aligned with your new vibration start to enter your life. You feel centered, confident, clear-headed, like you've stepped out of a storm into a calm field of infinite possibilities. Above furrow, you reach a deep state of rational clarity. You understand how life actually works. You see through appearances. And when you go beyond 500, you access the highest levels of the human field, unconditional love, joy, peace, compassion. These are not things you force. They arise naturally when your frequency is right. And the most incredible part, this high vibration doesn't just change you, it radiates. It lifts those around you. It reorganizes your environment. It inspires. It heals. This isn't fiction. This is the vibrational maffidan in ancient wisdom, coded in forgotten texts, described for millennia but misunderstood. At the center of it all emerges a single book, the Kybalion. In it, the ancient Hermetic sage recorded one of the most ignored yet most powerful laws of the universe, the law of vibration. Not just as a theory, but as spiritual technology. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. This isn't just philosophy. It's hidden science. It's applied metaphysics. Because everything that exists is energy in motion. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak, every image you observe, it all vibrates at a specific frequency. And right now, those vibrations are shaping your reality moment by moment. You just don't see it, because you were taught that reality is made of matter. But matter is the final result of a vibrationality in motion. It's like sound coming from a speaker. You don't see the wave, but it's there. You don't see the frequency, but it's organizing everything. And if your life feels full of noise, chaos, imbalance, it's because the frequency behind that reality is out of tune. That's why the vibrational maplift by Thoth matters so much. It's hidden in the language of the Kybalion. The secret? It's not just in the words, it's in the energy they carry. The Kybalion presents 7 universal laws, but at the core of them lies a single truth. Everything vibrates. Nothing stands still. That means, absolutely everything around you can be transformed. Not by brute force, but by vibrational resonance. That includes you. Your story, even what you believe is impossible. This code, it's hidden in every aspect of your life. When you feel anger, you enter a frequency that alters your cells, your energy field, your ability to manifest. But when you shift into deep gratitude, your vibration recalibrates almost instantly. The world responds, not because it likes you, but because it must. It's resonance. That's how reality works. You are like a transmitter, constantly sending out signals. And if you're not aware of it, your field emits by default. That default? It's built from your past, your pain, your trauma, your memories, your beliefs, your repressed emotions. That's why so many people live repetitive lives. They're trying to change the outside, while broadcasting the same inner signal. But here's the real secret. Reality doesn't respond to what you pretend to be. It responds to what you are. The universe doesn't care about appearances. It doesn't answer to masks. It responds to vibrational coherence. And if what you think, what you feel, and how you live are out of sync, the field collapses. Doors don't open. Opportunities stall. Everything gets stuck. Not because you're unlucky, but because your vibration is misaligned with what you're trying to experience. Now, this is delicate. This law doesn't pick sides. It has no judgment, no morality. It only responds to what's vibrating. So if you're holding on to negative thoughts, judgment, grudges, resentment, then the field must respond with more experience that reinforce exactly that. That's why the law of vibration can become your greatest ally, or your most dangerous saboteur. And that's also why it was once considered dangerous. Because once you understand it, you can't blame anything else. You realize you're co-creating your reality all the time, even when you don't mean to, even when you're not aware. And once that awareness enters your field, there's no going back. You either recalibrate your frequency, or you keep feeding the same reality you say you want to change. And here's the curious part. Many try to use this law, but don't know how. They think positively, repeat affirmations, make wish lists, but without real vibration behind it. It's just noise. There's no point in repeating mantras if your field is vibrating in conflict. No point in visualizing prosperity if your foundation is rooted in scarcity. To truly shift your vibration, you need a step-by-step process, real, organic, consistent, and vibrationally coherent. You need to learn it before your field closes again. And here's the truth. Most people think they have to do something complicated to raise their vibration, but they don't. Real change starts in the invisible. It begins in the pause. It begins when you step out of the internal noisy and choose stillness, even for just a few seconds. That state of presence is the doorway. And it's not philosophical. It's physiological. It's energetic. It's your system returning to alignment. While your mind dresses into the future or clings to the past, your body stays here. But most people, they're disconnected from it. They walk without feeling the ground, breathe without noticing the air, speak without feeling the vibration of their words. And that's why the field is so fragile. It has no grounding, no roots. It gets carried away by fear of the future, by the chains of the past. But the present is the only frequency where healing happens. And when you enter that state of presence, something shifts instantly. Your inner field opens. Silence takes root. Everything begins to reorganize. Thoughts slow down. Breath deepens. The vibration starts to stabilize. And in that moment, your body becomes a temple. You begin to notice what you've ignored for so long. The tightness in your chest. The tension in your jaw. The rush with no reason. And just that awareness starts the process of vibrational transmutation. But let's be clear, this isn't about meditating out of obligation. It's not about pretending peace when in Sadeo or at war. The state of presence doesn't require effort. It requires surrender. It's not about controlling everything. And it's not about abandoning everything either. It's about simply inhabiting the no with totality. And when that happens, your field begins to emit a new frequency, clean, more aligned, more truthful. And that vibration's picked up by the universe instantly. Because the energy around you responds more to what you feel than to what you say. If you feel anger but say I'm fine, the field still picks up the anger. If you feel deep gratitude but say nothing at all, the field picks up that too. Vibration doesn't depend on words. It moves beyond language. It operates on a deeper, more subtle level. That's why returning to the present isn't an escape. It's a return to yourself, a return to the source. And when you finally come back, you see how far away you've been. How much you were living like a character, surviving, chasing, forgetting you even exist. Because the mind learned to chase 1,000 things out there, while the body, it was only asking for one thing: presence. And presence heals. It clears the noise. Because noisy is what distorts your vibration. But when you breathe consciously, when you feel your feet planted on the ground, when you observe the no without needing to change it, something aligns inside you. The chaos dissolves into silence. The storm in your head loses its power. Not because the problems vanish, but because they stop identifying with them. You stop being the problem, and you start becoming space that observes it. And from there, everything starts to flow. Emotions fall back into place. Anxiety fades. The mind slows. The body relaxes. And that state, that's the portal. Because that's where F frequency starts to rise. The more time you spend consciously in the now, the more your vibration recalibrates. And the more your field begins to respond differently. You realize you didn't need to rush. The solution you thought was impossible, it was always within reach. You just needed to be present enough to see it. Answers don't come from urgency. They come from silence. Signs don't show up in the noise. They arrive through listening. There's no transformation Twishwa presence. Because it's only when you're here that the field can reorganize around you. And now that you've entered this state, there's a second movement. One that accelerates the shift. One that transforms your field even more deeply. It's the vibrational coincidence that redefines what you manifest. Because as the field starts to silently reorganize, something even more powerful can now be activated: gratitude. Gratitude doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It doesn't wait for big achievements. It begins the moment you recognize the miracle of now. The simple fact that you're breathing, that you're here, already reason enough for the energy to expand. True gratitude isn't forced. It doesn't come from the mind. It rises from a deeper, more honest place. And when it shows up, you feel it. Your body warms. Your heart softens. Your breath shifts. And suddenly a lightness fills the space that once felt heavy. And the most powerful part, it changes the environment literally. The vibration of gratitude is so high that it affects everything: objects, spaces. Even Pia Pluho don't know what's happening. You walk into a room and something shifts. Conflicts calm. Tension disappears. Words begin to flow with ease. And you haven't said a thing. It's not about speaking. It's about what you're vibrating. Because your field, now expanded, starts to silently influence everything around it. Not with force, but with resonance. The invisible response to what you radiate, not to what you want. And that's why gratitude is so powerful. Because it doesn't ask, it gives. It doesn't beg, it acknowledges. And the universe understands THOTH'S a clear signal. You're ready to receive more. But there's one more step. Because when your vibration rises, when your field opens, a rare opportunity appears. The Chancheto seal your transformation, a conscious, vibrational choice. You can be at peace, present, grateful. But if you don't declare what frequency you want to maintain, the field will go back to molding itself by default. Your old pattern, it doesn't just dissolve because you wish it would. Because the universe doesn't only respond to what you feel. It responds to what you choose. And this is where intention becomes creation. When you truthfully say, I choose to vibrate in love, you're not just repeating a nice phrase. You're anchoring an energetic signature into your field. You're sketching in vibration the new frequency of your life. This isn't positive thinking. It's vibrational engineering. That's the difference between someone who only wishes and someone who truly manifests. It begins with a clear choice of frequency. And then, you realize something profound. You don't need to beg for external things. You don't need to chase signs. You don't need validation from anyone. Because you become the channel, the vibration starts to radiate from the inside out. And when that happens, what was once stuck starts to open. Not because you begged, but because you aligned. Reality doesn't resist vibrational coherence. It bows to it. But, heads up, that choice, it only holds if you understand the responsibility carries. Because this frequency can reorganize your life effortlessly. And that is exactly where many people pull back. Because realizing that your vibration is a choice, not a side effect of life, requires a level of maturity many aren't ready to face. You can no longer blame the environment, other people, your past, or the mood of the day. The frequency you emit doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's born from the subtle choice you repeat every single day: how you react, how you think, how you feel, what you feed emotionally, what you choose to keep in your energetic field. And yes, that's hard to face. Because it demands brutal honesty. Saying, like this because of that person, or my life is stuck because of something outside me, might sound true. But in reality, it's just a hidden way of giving away your power. Vibration doesn't depend on what happens to you. It depends on what you do with what happens to you. Have you ever noticed how some people go through hell and still carry a light inside them? It's because they stop it being pulled from the outside in. They're vibrating from the inside out. They've made a decision to protect their frequency. And that's what separates THOTH'S repeat patterns from those who transform their reality. And once that decision is made firmly, with no turning back, the universe begins to respond in a way that feels like magic. But it's not magic. It's just vibrational math executing with precision. What was blocked begins to flow. Connections shift. People who brought noise fade away. Situations that used to feel repetitive stop making sense. You begin to feel guided effortlessly toward realityist, reflect your new frequency. And this is where you begin to understand what personal magnetism really means. You don't need to chase. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to force anything to prove your worth. Your vibration speaks on your behalf. And everything around you begins to align subtly, silently, precisely. Opportunities show up, not in desperate waves, but with flow, like the universalist just waiting for you to tune in. Because that's what happens when you're aligned. You don't need to push the river, you flow with it. This is the true state of co-creation. It's not about thinking positive and waiting for miracles. It's about shifting the field and watching how the world responds. And the response will come, sometimes quietly, sometimes radically, but always in harmony with what you're vibrating. Now, you see we thoth encoded these truths and symbols of the invisible, because the mind so used to control resists the simple. But this secret, it's simple, and it's deep. Your vibration is the key. And if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you already recognizes this frequency. Now, write in the comments, I felt the call, and I'm ready. Not just a sentence. It's a vibrational anchor. It tells the universe, I'm aware, I'm awake, I'm ready for what's beginning. And if you want to support this messaging, help spread this kind of content to more people around the world, check the first pinned comment. You'll find a way to contribute. Or just hit the thanks button right here on YouTube. It shows that this message really resonated with you. And before you go, a special video has already been picked just for you to help you continue this journey of spiritual realignment. It's showing upon your screen right now. Click it. No fear. We'll meet you there. The next key is waiting.